he is. We're babysitting my parents' dog, Sugar. They are going to the eclipse. So we may have some interruptions. He is a little bit higher strung than Bo, so tends to be set off over the littlest sounds or whatever. But we'll deal with that as it happens. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Now, let's get into it. So, please excuse my mess. I'm in the middle of trying to sort out some of my t-shirts and get rid of some of the shirts that I don't wear. I typically donate my stuff to Goodwill. I love Goodwill as a source to get rid of the stuff that I don't need. It helps people in need. And I used to try to sell things on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and that is just a headache. So I've kind of gotten away from that. Again, we are watching my parents' dog, and he has some jingly things on his collar, and he tends to bark a little more often. So if that happens, I will try to cut it out, but I may not be able to get it all, so please bear with me this week. Again, trying out this microphone, because from the other room I can hear laugh tracks. But this video is going to be more about what I learned about our recent trip to Florida and Alabama. And that was not our longest trip, but a fairly long trip. It was about 3 weeks. So the first thing I learned was I have a lot of anxiety, and the way I deal with the anxiety is I'm the type to start packing like a month ahead of time. I believe most of these reservations were made over a year ahead of time, and I'll typically start packing way ahead of time. Not everybody is like that, and that tends to irritate me a little bit. So it's something I have to deal with on my own. I probably could plan smarter and not have to be like that, but it is what it is. I'm trying to get better at that. I feel like the more prepared I am ahead of time, the less stressed out I am on the day that we leave, and that's the way it should be. But I end up preparing so much on some things, and then the small things I forget. Like I forgot my toothbrush, my what do you call it? Water pick. That water pick thing I just started. I was really trying to get good with that thing, and yeah, so I had to quit using that for 3 weeks because I totally forgot it. And I was so worried about having valve stem issues with my tires that I think I forgot. I don't know if that had to do with the things that I forgot, but I was really stressed out about that, and we had absolutely no issues about it because other YouTubers and people in forums told me that they had issues with it. I think with the tires that we have the Goodyear Wranglers, which are regular truck tires on our camper. I think it's going to be less of an issue, but I was prepared for that. I was ready to have to change out a valve or a tire. As long as you're prepared, it completely takes out that stress. So that's kind of why I'm like that, and I think that's a good way to be. It helps me relax later on if I stress out beforehand. And I think the lesson here is to slow down the day that you're leaving and don't rush. That way, it's less likely you're going to forget stuff. Moving on, because we're already 3 minutes into this. Overnight parking. 25 hours plus driving, even without towing, is not safe to do all in one shot. You're going to have to stop and sleep somewhere. And we only made it to Paducah, Kentucky, and I was not prepared to be stopping that early. But in order for us to get to sleep while it was still somewhat dark, I did not want to continue driving and then have to try to make Juanita sit around while I was sleeping in the daytime. So I decided to stop. And we ended up sleeping at I'm not sure what the truck stop was, but there was a truck stop, and it's got the regular truck stalls in the back for the semi trucks, and I really don't encourage, and I don't like to have people, I don't encourage people to park in those truck stalls because it's really frowned upon, and I don't like to do it, but in a pinch, we have done it. So this one was a very busy place because it was out in the middle of nowhere. There was nowhere else to stop. So we stopped there, and there was only 2 stalls left, so we parked in the left stall, and there was one open on the side with our stairs. And when we woke up, there was a truck parked so close to our stairs that we could not get our stairs back into the camper in order to pull our trailer out. So Juanita had to lift up on the stairs while I slowly pulled out and got around the other truck because the driver was nowhere to be found. So we couldn't have him move, and that was a bummer, and I think we lucked out on that one. So if you have to do that in that situation, try to pull your stairs up somehow. With the way they are now, that would be very difficult, and I may come up with some kind of a hook system so that we can do it from the inside and just pull it up. But yeah, I will update you on that if there's something I come up with. Number 3, late arrivals. I always misinterpret how long it's going to take, and I usually leave way too much time. Like I always overestimate how long it's going to take us, if that's correct, overestimate. So the last 2 trips we went on, I've had to call and see if we could get into our RV park a day early. And this last time, when we got to Big Pine Key Resort, it was dark and fairly tight. With my truck, it's kind of hard to get into tight spots, and it was dark. So if you can avoid that, and it would be cheaper to stay and boondock somewhere. But in Florida, especially around the Keys, it's really difficult to do that. I did find out that there was a harvest host we could have pulled into near Homestead, that farming district, Redlands Brewery, that is a harvest host. So we could have went there for the night and then only had like a 4-hour drive after that. But yeah, it's just a failure on planning on my part, because I always think it's going to take longer than it actually does, because I probably drive too fast when I'm towing. And number 4, weather and climate. Another thing I did not prepare for was the powerful sun in the Keys. It seemed like it was hotter than, I'm not sure what year we went, 5 years ago maybe. And it was nearly impossible to do anything outside, especially on the water. I even got burned when we were in Key West, which is fairly tree covered. So make sure you bring a high SPF sunblock if you're going to a sunny region, or if you're going to a buggy region, which Juanita found out. Make sure you put on your bug spray. I'm sure she regrets not doing that. We were just not prepared. But I still think it was worth it. It was fun. I had the sunburn, but it went away. I still had a little bit of the raccoon eyes. So be mindful of the climate. Be mindful of the climate change. Things are going to get hotter and stormier. Be prepared if there's a hurricane to get the heck out of there, or whatever, or a flood. This is not something that we've had to deal with yet, but I've seen videos where people would be driving in canyons out west in Utah, and it rains, and then all of a sudden their car is floating down the middle of a river because the river just springs up out of nowhere. So you need to get educated about everywhere that you're going and make sure you're prepared for the conditions that may change in a moment's notice. So number 5, activity planning. I always do research looking for things to do in the area, so we don't miss out. I want to have the best vacation possible. So I make sure that we're doing all the greatest, funnest things that we could be doing. So I guess the lesson with that is don't overdo it. You want to remember that you're on a vacation. And I think this last time I had the list of things that we could do in the area, but we didn't ever decide what we were going to do until the day of. So we would sleep and get up whenever we felt like getting up. We'd get ready, and then we're like, all right, well, what are we going to do today? And it seemed to work out fine for us. The only thing with that is some things that you may want to do require a reservation. So that you're obviously going to have to plan ahead of time. But it's better to decide the day of. A flexible schedule really adds to the relaxation of your trip. And I really felt it on this last one. I'm glad that we did it that way. And I think it makes everybody that you're traveling with happier. And so that's it for those lessons. And I am very happy with the way the battery box turned out, especially when it came to having to take that battery back out. It was much easier. And so I'm very happy with that. If you didn't see that upgrade, I do have a video about it. And you may hear the little twinkling sound. That is Sugar running around. He doesn't often sit down. This is his first day here. So he'll be here with us for 2 days. Overall, I had a great trip. They get better every time. So the overall lesson here is prepare thoroughly, but be flexible. And with that, in conclusion, be safe. Make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure you hit that like button. I do get decent views now. We've gotten, I think, 13 subscribers in the last few videos. 13 extra, so that's good. So make sure you keep sharing those videos out there. And the reason why I'm going to be donating a lot of these shirts is because I've got too many shirts. And I did just purchase one last night from I Heart Dogs, hashtag I Heart Dogs. And I think it's like a $20 shirt. But the purchase of that goes to feed 8 dogs. And then if you post a picture of your dog and you tag it I Heart Dogs, they'll also donate more money to feed more dogs. So I couldn't pass that up. And the shirt's pretty cool. It says, I support putting animal abusers to sleep. So that is a cause that I'm behind. So I thought I should get that shirt. And there's all these other shirts that I don't wear. And if somebody else can wear them, that's good then. So I'll just give those to them. Clean out my closet and maybe stop buying so many hangers. So I'm working a lot, trying to get back caught up with financial issues. I did have my account get hacked into and lost money from that, and it could take up to 3 months to get that money back, apparently. So that, and having to pay into taxes for like the first time ever, and just expenses from the last trip. It may be a while before I'm able to go on another trip, but I'm thinking up more creative videos that you would like, and they're probably going to be a little closer to home, just saying. But there will be more long excursions in the future. I just need to get some things paid off first. So, that being said, make sure you like and subscribe. We have gained some subscribers, so that's a positive. So share this information with your friends and be safe. Ad Astra, my friends.